So in terms of stereotypes and being judged and mistreated, the short answer is you will be judged, yes, in the UK, but you will not be mistreated. That's something that I didn't face. I wasn't like mistreated just because I was, Indian, but you will be judged 100%. Um, in big cities like London, which are already so culturally diverse, there's big Indian communities and also African American communities. So you will not be, judged or mistreated in those cities which are like diverse. But specifically for me, I have been judged many times for being Indian. I can give two examples. One was in my first year. I was sharing a kitchen with about 20 people. I know it sounds disgusting, but that was it. I was sharing a kitchen with 20 people. So my mom sent me a parcel of, Indian food. And there was this guy from Cyprus who was constantly judging me for cooking curries. They say that Indian people only eat curries and it's smelly and it's horrible. And once he got so angry that the kitchen was smelling of Indian food, that he took my stuff from the kitchen and he threw it away. So that, that's, you will face stuff like that. And another thing is, again, like Akash said, you want to rent a flat and landlords will say no because Indians make food that smells a lot and it stays inside the house even after you've moved out. It's all rubbish, but that's how people will judge you based on you. So you always have to take it with a pinch of salt. You shouldn't get angry for people judging you. But in the UK, no, you will not be mistreated.
You really, really miss home. You really, really miss friends, family. So, if anyone's trying to go abroad, you should keep this in mind. But don't let this deter you. Uh, it is hard for the first 6 months to 8 months, but then you obviously get used to it. One thing I found to, keep my mind off homesickness was to just overload myself with activities. So I never had. So if you don't give yourself time to think about being homesick, you can minimize a lot of homesickness, and that's what I tried to do freshman year. You really don't know how much stuff it goes on in the background, like laundry, like dishes, like cooking food, uh, shopping for new clothes, and everything. So we should all keep like I just like now I try and schedule everything out, but it seldom goes according to schedule. So yeah, I'm still learning, adapting every day, living away from home. So it's an ongoing process. It's not like, all right, one day I'm like, all right, I'm completely independent now.
I think that the Indian education system should really focus on extracurriculars as well as making students comfortable with who they are. That's another thing that I feel like the education system abroad has, that they make you comfortable with who you are. If you aren't sure of your identity, they leave you to be. They support you with counseling. That's something that we could also do, and that's not there so much. NLS had some counseling system, but it wasn't extensive. So I think we could do with counseling and supporting students in learning who they are. That's about it.
I think 2 points from my side. The first is you got to start tracking your expenses. I don't think in India or back in school anyone really tracks their expenses. And I'm very micro with my expenses, so I have an app where I input either it's linked to my credit card spend or my bank account, or I manually input my spending. Make sure that you're tracking how your month is going, so that if you for some reason go out and eat fancy dinners for the first part of the month, you're off track and you need to bring back that on track. The second thing I'd like to say is, back in university, I had a very small budget. I tried to like minimize all my expenses, through cooking, etc. But eventually, when you see your friends outside going out, partying or eating good dinners, or shopping and wearing fancy clothes, which is very, very normal in university because you have people from all kinds of backgrounds. You got to understand what your priority is, And if you do like, wearing good clothes and like, wearing super fancy branded clothes, just make sure you don't become a burden on your parents for those reasons, and you try and start earning your own living. Once you move abroad, you start to realize like, odd jobs like, working at a Starbucks or working, as a tuition coach for $10 an hour can help you manage your expenses very well. Try and do all those things to, for your discretionary spending. But everything else, again, just keep a track so that you know how you're doing on your monthly spend.